Want to welcome everybody out to the July 3rd, 2023 Jenkins City Council meeting, and I appreciate y'all being able to go ahead and meet on a regular schedule with tomorrow being the 4th of July. Madam Clerk, can you call the roll, please?
Ernestine.
Here.
Chuck. Sean.
Here.
Rick.
Here.
Sammy.
Here.
Garnet.
Here.
All righty. Stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alrighty, you've got a copy of the minutes in your packet. Any additions, deletions, or not entertain a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make that motion.
And I'll second it.
Having a motion to second, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed? All right, the June financial reports.
I'll make a motion to accept it for that.
Got a motion and a second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. All righty, Scott, you're up.
Well, as you can see from last update, not much has changed in the past month. We're waiting on, I guess we're just waiting on the grants. We're in a hurry up and wait phase of the grants. So, nothing has changed from last month, the credit update. Our RTC is having their quarterly meeting August 9th. And we're having our water meeting after that next month. We'll be, I guess, electing, our RTC will be electing our officials. So hopefully none of that will change. And if you have any questions about anything, contact me or Jennifer, and we'll be glad to help.
Phase one they're talking about here, that's what we were looking at the RFPs for. That's $258,000 to do a study to get us into phase two. The City Hall renovations, that's still moving. We've answered some questions and turned in some more paperwork for it. Wastewater treatment plant improvements is a piecemeal type deal. The I&I study will help with that. The KIA that we'll talk about a resolution in a minute is another step in that. It's real important. The sewer plant does all right till we have big rains. If we can get the water off of them and improve the process down there, it's going to be a lot easier when we go to expand into more housing or people looking at industrial parks. I'm just running through them so we don't talk about all of them. And then like the last one, city park renovations, we've got notice that we're going to get funded, but we're still waiting on the memorandum of agreement in our workbook that shows us how we draw the money down and how we do that. That one is $66,000 with the $66,000 local match that we sort of had in place before the flood, but it's not as much as before. But there's House Bill 9 money that we may be able to get to help match that. I'm meeting with contractors to see how we can work that out and maybe put some projects together with volunteer help to get that done. And I've got some pretty good response for some people. The RTP trail development, that one's $120,000 with a $20,000 match. There may be opportunity with some infrastructure development in that area to be able to get that piece put into that. But like you said, we're waiting. A lot of stuff's moving forward. A lot of stuff's coming together, so it's just a process, and you know how the government does, so here we are. Alrighty, yard assist update. The biggest headache I've got is roads, and I'm sure everybody can agree. The part of our plant was moved to another plant. That plant caught on fire. We had put out some RFPs for some contractors to do blacktop and according to FEMA, we need to change something because we're working on the road and they're working on the slip. It's two different things, and we have to have two different types of contractors or RFPs that covers both of them. So those are coming back in. We'll have them in by July 17th, and as soon as that's after, we can get started and get somebody put in place to do that and make sure we've got blacktop.
So that's our biggest problem right now, is just where we don't have no.
Well, we
no
didn't have,
access to it.
we don't have contractors. And when FEMA does it, you have to do whatever, if you have one public meeting for everything else, you have two public meetings for them. So it's just to make sure that we procure properly, we spend it the right way, and the clawback is what we don't want. So if they come back in and you don't follow all the procedures and do what you're supposed to, they can say, well, you didn't do it right, give us the
How long
money
can
back.
that drag out, Sean?
Well, we're not the only one. It's countywide. Plattsburgh's had the same issues. They got a little bit down and something went wrong. We got core drilling reports on the slips and the slides. We had to go back and prove bedrock. So we had to pay $850 a hole for them to come in and tell us how deep full of rock. But we should have that decided in next week. And then we've got 5 more projects in review stage. We've got approval on parks, but we don't have the money yet. We can go ahead and do some of this work, but then if we go more than what they're going to give us, we have to make up the difference. If we do cheaper than what they were going to give us, then we don't get a good project. So we're just trying to keep everything going. And once we get a good project approved, then we can roll on with the contractors and get it fixed. So that's sort of where that's at. It's quick when they need something and slow when we need something, but we're getting there. The scoring for the dam we started earlier, and like I said, we will try to have them back by Friday. A whole lot of information, and it's really important we find the best engineering service to take care of that.
Is that dip in the pond at the back of the lake the same project as the dam, or is that separate?
It's separate. That's a FEMA mitigation project, and I got an email this evening about it. We just received our first permits from Division of Water to get in the water, and we're waiting on clearance from the Corps of Engineers through their clearinghouse. So before we can play in the water, we have to have that in place, but that's moving too. Administration contract resolutions, and there's 2 of the. Randall, can we read it one time and explain it's for both pieces? One is for the I&I project, and it's for grant administration. It's for CRAD to be able to administer the grant, and it's a contract for them. And also, what's the I&I project? Oh, the wastewater treatment plant improvements. Both of these projects are 100% funded. It's clean water money that was passed way back when, and I know we've talked about it several times, but it's time to start applying that money. So what it is, a resolution for us to work with CRAD for them to administer the grant and take care of all the paperwork. And if it's all right for you all, he can read it one time, but just knowing that it is for the I-9 and the wastewater treatment plant.
You're saying both these KIA resolutions are for different projects?
Yeah, it's same funding source, same administration, and same everything else. And maybe we should, can we put "and" on that one and do both of them, or?
Well, I mean, the minutes can reflect both.
Okay. Okay.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, I'll read. Resolution of the City of Jenkins authorizing the signing of a contract for administrative services. Whereas the City of Jenkins, the quote city, close quotes, close friends, has been awarded funds to the Kentucky Infrastructure Authority, KIA, close friends. And whereas in order to properly administer the grant as required by the KIA, proper loan and grant administration must be performed, and the city does not have the personnel training in the administration of KIA funds. And whereas the Kentucky River Area Development District, the quote, district, in quote, close friends, has employees that are trained by the state of Kentucky for the administration of KIA funds. and the city wishes to contract with the district, and the district is willing to be contracted with, now therefore be it resolved this third day of July 2023 by the city of Jenkins that the mayor is hereby authorized to sign the administrative contract and to enter into said contract with the district. Vote taken as follows. Council allocations, columns yes, columns no. City of Jenkins by and through Todd Decrease Mayor. Motion carried at test clerk. And the second reading is sine qua non. We'll call it that. Same reading.
Okay, so we're,
Both contracts.
Madam Clerk, if you want to just call the roll that way.
Todd.
I don't vote. I don't know why they put that, I don't know why they put that over. I think they're thinking the county.
Yes.
Garnet.
Yes.
Chuck.
Yes.
Ernestine.
Yes.
Sean.
Yes.
Sam.
Yes.
Okay, takes care of that.
For the second one, go ahead and do a reading on for the second one.
Okay. Rick.
Yes.
Chuck.
Yes.
Sean.
Yes.
Garnet.
Yes.
Ernestine.
Yes.
Sam.
Yes.
Ready, thank you. Now, grant assistance agreement resolution. It's just,
Just had a form. A resolution of the city of Jenkins accepting the grant, approving the grant assistance agreement, authorizing the amendments of the city of Jenkins annual budget, and authorizing a representative to sign all related documents. Whereas the Kentucky General Assembly has appropriated funds for the infrastructure project in House Bill 1 of the 2022 regular session of the Kentucky General Assembly for the Cleaner Water Program. And whereas the city of Jenkins, for instance, the quote grantee, close parens, has previously determined that it is in the public interest to acquire and construct certain facilities and improvements to the grantee's utility system, for instance, the quote project, end quote, close parens, semicolon, and whereas the grantee desires funding from the Kentucky Infrastructure Authority, for instance, the quote authority, end quote, close parens, for the purpose of acquisition and construction of the project, and whereas in order to obtain a grant from the Cleaner Water Program for the project and administered by the authority, the grantee is required to enter into an assistance agreement. For instance, the quote agreement, close parens, with the authority. Now therefore be it resolved by the governing body of the city of Jenkins as follows. Section 1. The grantee hereby accepts and grants award and approves the agreement between the grantee and the authority to provide the necessary funds to the grantee of the project. Section 2. That Mayor Todd Decrease is hereby designated to be the grantee's quote authorized official, end quote, for this project, and is hereby directed and empowered by the grantee to execute the agreement, related documents and agreements, and otherwise act on behalf of the grantee to effect such grant award and to engage a qualified project administrator. Section 3, that the grantee hereby agrees and commits to include, by amendment to its annual budget and audit process, the receipts and expenditures of the funds subject to this agreement up to and including the date of the project closeout. Section 4, that this resolution shall take into effect at the earliest time provided by law, adopted on this blank day blank signature lines, authorized signature.
all righty. Having heard the resolution, hear a motion to approve the resolution.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All right, have a motion, second, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? Roll on. We've got a roadblock request, and then we've got a fundraiser where they want to set up in town. Both of them are the same day, but they're not going to be in the road, right? Okay. One's cross-country and the other one is,
It's set up in town, it says.
the AAU. Yeah, they were just gonna try to get over to the side of the park somewhere. These travel teams are they're trying to keep costs down for the families as much as they can to get them to be able to compete. So we'll get a motion to approve them.
We doing both of them or just the one?
Both of them, because like I said, one of them, they're wanting to do the roadblock, the other, they'll just be sort of set up by the fire station or over in that area somewhere.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, got a motion second. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Alrighty, council got anything tonight?
Just praising Binky for the job he's doing at the pool. He's really brought it a long way this year.
Yeah, it's doing really well. We've got a lot of people coming and it's good to have, it's expensive to run, and if you wonder about propane, we've got it, but we try to keep the chill locked off. It's thousands of dollars to run it otherwise. Also, it's got some business sponsors help offset costs.
That was a great idea.
Well, the big idea is try not to raise, we don't have to. We're same prices we started with, and we're trying to continue that moving forward. We're getting there. If you're a survivor and still dealing with issues, please contact caseworkers and talk to them about where you're at with it. The NRCS buyout program has been extended to the end of the month. Contact the judge's office about that. If your first floor was affected by the flood, you may be eligible to participate in that. They've got workers at the rec center Tuesdays and Thursdays, I think, but anyway, you call the county judge's office and they can explain that. But if you pass this deadline up, it may be a while before this comes available again. So FEMA's already closed out, NRCS is doing that, and we're trying to figure out how that plays out later when we end up with some empty lots. But housing projects are moving forward. They announced the Marlowe project, new 10 homes Friday. The other one's still doing surveying and due diligence on those properties to see how that works out. I met with the Public Protection Cabinet Chief of Staff Friday while they were here with the governor, and everything's still moving. So if anybody's got any problems, reach out. If we don't know here, we'll get in touch with somebody that can. We've still got a lot of volunteer crews coming in. We've got the 38 beds at the old high school, and our booking director over here is trying to keep up with all the people coming in. And if you see those folks, and I'm not going to pick on a bunch of names, but Team Rubicon or the Catholic Ministry or whoever it is, if you see them out, thank them, because they're still in here doing work that wouldn't be getting done otherwise. So we're trying our best to take care of them and help them have as good a time here as they can, and make it as easy on them as it can be for them while they're here to be able to work and help get people back in their homes. So we're coming up on a year. I don't want to call it an anniversary. We'll just call it a commemoration. We'll say it happened. I think the celebration part needs to be of those that's got back in their homes and are getting somewhere. So that's what I've got to know. I had her put it on the agenda this time still, but I passed it up. Jim, you got your police report?
Yeah, you all have your I wanted to say something about what the mayor's talking about, the recovery. If you go through Dunham, you'll see 2 houses that are almost complete. They got them up really quick. And by almost complete, I mean they're in the dry right now, so things are coming along. If everybody will just kind of have patience, like the mayor said. The only other thing I want to touch on was, did we come up with anything about our four-wheelers, what do we call that? The
Curfew.
Yeah, curfew. Have we made any kind of decisions on that?
No,
And the only reason they have it is because I had to give them a draft of Lincoln, so that's That's on me. I owe you one. Just haven't had time to get it.
We just need to be real careful how we move ahead with whatever we do. You know, I would remind people that's using them and people that's letting kids use them, there's laws in place. Anybody 16 and younger is supposed to be in direct supervision of those children. So it doesn't mean I know they're riding, they can be riding around if they're 16 or younger, whoever's with them. And they can look it up. You can go online and look up the ATV laws, how you pass and cross roadways, and it's actually to get from trail to trail, and not to amuse yourself by going back and forth in a neighborhood. And that's the simplest way as I put it. And I would say we probably wouldn't have as many of these discussions if they would make their way to where they're going carefully, slowly, and quietly, and come back. There was one on a dirt bike and one on a four-wheeler, and they eased up to the Mexican restaurant, they eat, and they eased back. Got no problem with that. It's when they get to the dam and it won't idle, and they want to rev it up, and they want to look big for everybody to stand around. So if they keep doing that, they're going to mess it up for everybody. So just pass it around. Follow the law, act right, and should be able to enjoy it, and we'll have something to do. But it's local folks. It's not the ones coming from another county or another state coming to ride. It's people that lives here that evidently don't know how to ride. So
It seems every month when Jamie and I do our little show, I'm always bringing that up, and yet still the thing that bothers me the most is when I see somebody riding with an infant on the front handlebars, the daddy in the middle, and another 2-year-old hanging behind. And then you stop them, and they act like we're the ones from ours, saying, "Hey, listen, you know, you got to be watching this." So Jamie, we bring that up every month. I just want to touch on it and see if we were still keeping that in mind.
alrighty, that's all I've got. Anybody else, we'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
Got a motion, about a second. All those in favor say bye. Thank you all for coming. Enjoy your 4th. Everybody stay safe and keep praying for us. We're going to get there.
Did you say we could take a picture of this?